that's it, I'm done with this. They could have gone through the hoops and continued instructing. But the FAA eventually expected that everybody was gonna buy one of these new SLSA planes, even a Quicksilver, 40 some odd $1,000. I wasn't gonna do that, it makes no sense. This is an airplane that on a good day can be flown a couple of hours a day before the winds come up and stuff like that. It's gotta be hangared. Flight schools ain't gonna want these kind of airplanes. They want the higher end stuff. So it's tough. If you wanna come in and learn to fly an ultralight with all of its quirks and stuff, that's tough. To do it legally these days, you need an instructor, CFI now, who's willing to do it. You know, that's real tough. Anyways,
So that means, two-seaters like we got out here.
see, and that's the thing, I think if anybody's, and yes, we all know that the FAA is not here every other day looking in it, but it doesn't mean they won't. And it doesn't mean that someday somebody's gonna get a bug up their butt and come out here and cause troubles if they wanted to. Clearly, I think anything with more than one seat, anything with god-awful big gas tanks on it, it's obvious to anybody who knows anything about Part 103 that ain't an ultralight. Again, the more it looks like a real airplane, big engine on it, it gets kind of tough to defend that could be an ultralight. So it's tough, I understand. They never updated Part 103. Well, they did, I guess. They said sport pilot, there you go. So, or light sport aircraft, I think is what the FAA's intent was.
So it's like the two-seaters that they have right now, they're not legally really
Never
trained.
were, yeah, never were. You know, for 25 years, starting in 1985, the USUA got a training exemption that allowed people to legally, instructors, if you will, to legally fly these otherwise illegal two-seat ultralight things. They had an exemption for training. To even include students were able to solo these things. All right, so it was a good system. Problem is that exemption, which had to be renewed every 2 years, went on for 25 years. And at some point, the FAA says, this is not an exemption. You can't do rulemaking by exemption. We've heard that term before. At some point, we got to make this, we got to somehow incorporate something permanent. This is no longer an exemption, because it never goes away otherwise. So that was part of the reason for sport pilot and light sport aircraft to come into play. The FAA was just not going to continue with the exemptions forever. Plus, there were, at the time, a lot of people who were flying these two-seat trainers, either blatantly illegally, if you will, or as professional permanent students. You know, and again, the FAA is kind of wise to that. They know that you just can't be a student for 5 years. Do paperwork every now and again. So those are all the reasons we've got light sport aircraft out here. So
So it's like if, I've got my light sport, so I wouldn't want to jump in a two-seat and take somebody up for a ride. Is that legal or, but certainly not for training, but just to take a ride in an ultralight or that MX-L.
now, are you saying to maybe help people who want to?
Give a, a scenic flight.
You certainly can. Take passengers with you in anything you're qualified to fly, as long as planes.
As long as you're a light sport pilot.
Right. What you can't do is be paid for it.
Right.
You know, there is a rule that, part of the rules deals with the purpose of the flight. You can't be doing this in furtherance of a business, that kind of stuff. So you can't hang a shingle up and say, tours, free, donate, suggested donation, something like, you can't do that. Yes, sir.
Or gas.
Up to 50%, yeah, you can split the cost, yeah, you can do that. But again, you gotta look at the purpose of the flight. I would not hang out a shingle and talk about discovery flights. Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah.
So if you were a 23-year-old, whatever they call them, Gen X or millennial, and you wanted
Yes.
Gen X, yeah, you wanted to start flying single-seat ultralights. I know there's a gray area here to the FAA, there's kind of a bit of a wink stuff going on, they've even told us as much. As long as we don't fly into a schoolyard and crash into a bunch of kids, we're probably okay. How would you, but if you were that person and you were interested in maybe getting a little single-seater and flying out of here or out of Black Butte or whatever it is up there, how would you approach that? Would you, I mean, I don't even know if you're doing, I know your old two-seater is up in, at the LRE right now. And
Really?
Oh, that's right, you didn't know.
I didn't know.
Oh, it's still got your name on the back and everything, yeah.
Wow,
Yeah,
okay.
it's up there, yeah.
I checked the N number a while
No,
back,
it's
it was
not.
deregistered or something, so
Well, he did that, well, it's still got the N number on it.
that's a
It's
shame.
still-
I don't know why you didn't, why you keep it registered.
But if you were, somebody in that situation, how would you go about trying to stay
Yeah.
semi-legal?
It's tough because, again, back in the day when we had the ultralight instructors, there's probably several here at the field. And so it wouldn't have been a problem to give a guy training in a two-place something so he could transition to a single-place thing. It's a little tough. It really is. There are a few people that I know of, maybe one or two, that actually can do legal instruction in an ultralighty thing. You know, so I, you know, if we're talking the legal way,
Thinking Chico or?
yeah, you know, you gotta send them to him, you know? What else you gonna do? I know of nobody, close to me at least, that has a two-place thing N number, so I, you know, couldn't help there. Now,
That thing has to be factory built?
well, this is where it gets interesting too, is, you know, and that was part of the thing the FAA did not get. They just assumed that now that we opened up, they opened up the rules to everybody. In fact, they even gave ultralight pilots a grant